I had already decided it would be my last blind date ever. 30 minutes. That was the deal I made with myself. 30 minutes of polite conversation, a forced smile, and then I would walk away, like I always did. But the woman who walked into that cafe that night was not the woman I expected. And by the end of that evening, my entire life had changed. After my painful breakup 2 years earlier, I had stopped believing in love. Friends kept insisting, "You just haven't met the right person yet." But every blind date felt exactly the same. Awkward small talk, fake laughter, and the quiet relief when it was finally over. So when my best friend Daniel begged me to go on one last blind date, I finally gave in. "Just meet her once," he said. "If you hate it, I'll never set you up again." Reluctantly, I agreed. We were supposed to meet at a small cafe downtown at 7 p.m. By 6:50, I was already there, nervously stirring my coffee. My expectations were low. I had convinced myself this would be another forgettable evening. Then the door opened. A woman walked in, scanning the room. She looked confident but calm, wearing a simple blue dress and carrying a small notebook in her hand. When our eyes met, she smiled warmly and walked straight toward me. "Hi," she said softly. "You must be Alex." There was something different about her energy. Not forced, not awkward, just natural. "I'm Emma," she said as she sat down. The first few minutes felt normal. We talked about work, hobbies, and where we grew up. But then something unusual happened. Instead of the typical shallow questions, Emma asked something unexpected. "Can I ask you something real?" she said. I nodded. "What's one thing that changed your life, but most people don't know about?" No one had ever asked me that on a first date. For a moment, I hesitated, but something about her sincerity made it impossible to hide behind small talk. So I told her. I told her about my breakup, about how I had planned to propose, only to discover the relationship wasn't what I thought it was. I told her how it broke my trust in people. Emma didn't interrupt. She simply listened. And when I finished, she said something I will never forget. "Sometimes the worst heartbreak protects you from the wrong future." I sat there silently. No one had ever framed it that way before. Then she shared her own story. 2 years earlier, Emma had also gone through a devastating loss, but not a breakup. Her fiancé had passed away in a car accident just months before their wedding. For a moment, the cafe noise faded around us. We were just two strangers sharing truths most people hide. But strangely, the conversation didn't feel heavy. It felt honest. Time passed without either of us noticing. 30 minutes turned into an hour. Then 2. We laughed about embarrassing childhood memories. We debated favorite movies. At one point, we even realized we both loved the same random hobby, visiting small bookstores in different cities. By the time the cafe announced it was closing, neither of us wanted to leave. As we stepped outside into the cool night air, Emma smiled. "So, was this your worst blind date ever?" she teased. I laughed. "Actually, it was my last blind date." She raised an eyebrow. "Oh, why?" I looked at her and said the only honest thing I could think of. "Because I don't think I'll need another one." Emma blushed slightly. A week later, we went on our second date. Then a third. Months passed, and something I thought was impossible slowly returned to my life. Hope. Emma didn't fix my past, but she helped me believe that my future could still be beautiful. And sometimes I think about that moment, sitting alone in the cafe before she arrived. If I had canceled, if I had decided it wasn't worth trying again, I would have missed the woman who changed everything, all because of one last blind date.